Guys, there's one more episode left for the worst setup edition, which is on episode 180. So if you have a potato setup, now is the time to submit your photos, because the person with the worst setup on that episode is going to take home $100 in cash, no matter where you live. So make sure to watch the video linked below and follow the instructions. Make sure you guys are sending in really good pictures. Make sure to take pictures during the daylight. That way there's plenty of light in your room. But anyways, with that said, welcome to Setup Wars episode 178, Minimalistic Clean Edition. Let the Setup Wars begin. Looking for a new comfortable gaming chair but don't want to burn a hole in your wallet? Then you gotta check out Autofold. They've been the official authorized gaming chair brand for hundreds of international gaming pro leagues, and they became the only gaming chair for high-end esports forums. The Sword Series 2 features super comfy padding, an included headrest, and a detachable lumbar pillow. It has a larger size seat cushion and wider back support to accommodate the heaviest and tallest individuals. With 3 points of adjustability, you can sit comfortably for long hours at a time without any fatigue. The caster wheels are extremely smooth and can pretty much roll over any type of surface quietly. They do have a wide variety of chairs to choose from, including a basketball theme and a pink rabbit for the ladies out there. Just for my subscribers, you can get 10% off your order if you use the coupon code listed on the screen. Click the link below to learn more. Kicking off the episode is Ben and his super clean setup that he uses for gaming and homework. He's using a single 24-inch monitor that's lifted up with the Satechi smart stand, and we also got the Logitech G Pro Keyboard and Logitech G403 mouse. I like how Ben didn't overuse the color red like most setups. It has a nice balance with red accents. The desk he's using is the popular LINNMON top with 2 Alex drawers. Now personally, I think it's a bit too big for this setup since he's only using a single monitor, but at the same time, it's great for expandability if he ever decides to upgrade his setup. He did keep the surface fairly light with a couple of Star Wars Funko Pops and his PC, which looks really dope. I love that he kept the flashy RGB lighting to a minimum, yet stayed consistent with the setup's color scheme. Cables are beautifully wrapped together with some Velcro straps, and the 4-piece mural painting was the finishing touch to give the setup a bit of spice. Well done putting this together. Thank you, Ben, for entering. Next up is Ethan from Washington, who is a college student, and he uses this setup for gaming, productivity, and the occasional streaming movies. This is one compact setup, and I don't think you can get any more minimalistic than this. So we have a 24-inch HP monitor mounted against the wall, and not much space left on the desk except for his wireless peripherals and his PC. He's using the popular M.2 keyboard in white with the Logitech G305 mouse, along with a few fake plants from IKEA to give the setup a bit of life. The only audio source he's got are the AKG K702 headphones, which are hanging from the side of his PC, and he uses these with the Behringer audio interface, which he has tucked away underneath the desk next to his power strip. I love that he routed the cable from the power strip behind one of the legs so that it stays hidden. Most people will just run it straight down the wall without a raceway. The PC powering the setup is a tiny beast with a Ryzen 7 2700X, 16 gigs of RAM, and the EVGA RTX 2070 XC Ultra. Ethan's setup is a great example that you don't need a bunch of flashy RGB lighting to have a clean and effective setup. Well done, and thank you for entering. And number 3 is Philip, which is a name I no longer trust. He uses this setup for competitive Overwatch and Dota 2 gaming, and he also uses it to browse the web and the occasional movie streaming. He too mounted his monitor against the wall, but he actually routed the cables through it as well for a much cleaner look. The color scheme he's going for is white and black, and I think he achieved this perfectly with minor modifications with his gear, like the white keycaps for his K65 RGB keyboard and the modded MX Master 2S mouse. He's actually using the white version of the MX Master 2S, but he swapped the top portion with his old MX Master to get that black and white color. Pretty clever actually, without having to paint the mouse. Even the headphones are modded. They are using white ear cups from Brainwaves and white skins from the brand. I gotta admire his dedication. The mom desk from IKEA does come with a rack underneath to store all the cables for convenience, and the surface is large enough to put his PC. It's decently spec'd with a 4770K and a GTX 1060. I do love the AIO sleeving kit, but your RAM sticks are on the wrong slots. You're not taking advantage of dual channel. So I do recommend moving the first RAM stick 1 slot over so that both your RAM sticks are sitting in slots 2 and 4. I do have some other minor points of criticism. First off, I think that the wall art in the center of the shelves looks really cool, but I feel like black shelves would have looked a lot better instead of white. It would have given a nice contrast off the wall and your desk. Also, the placement of the wall shelves are a bit too spread out. Maybe moving them a bit closer to the wall art would have looked more organized. Other than those minor tweaks, I think you have a pretty sweet, clean setup. Thank you, Philip, for entering. And number 4 is Francis from the Philippines and another white and black setup. It looks like he built this right underneath his bed, so that way he can roll out of bed and start gaming as soon as possible. It's quite genius, actually. He's using a 32-inch TV as a monitor and the Jazz AK33 mechanical keyboard with a CW80 mouse. The keyboard wire is routed underneath the mouse pad and towards the PC, which is a micro ATX build using the Ryzen 5 1600 and the Inno 3D GTX 1060. It's a super clean build, but the red accents from the RAM sticks kind of throws off the color scheme a little bit. The rest of the cables are channeled neatly and tucked away underneath the desk. I mean, you can't get more simpler than this. Thank you, Francis, for entering. Last but not least, we have Mason from Vancouver, who was kind enough to share his occupation. He's a 15-year-old who shovels horse crap for $12.65 an hour. And with that determination and hard work, he has saved up enough to buy everything that you see here, except for the desk and the speakers. The desk is actually just a tabletop with a couple of toolboxes as support. Talk about a mobile setup. He can pretty much wheel this setup anywhere he wants. That's hilarious. He's using a 27-inch MSI gaming monitor with a Razer Black Widow Chroma and the Logitech G502 mouse. And I'm actually surprised he drilled a hole to route both of the cables through. Nicely done. This here is a picture of a dog. Looks like the specs are a bit outdated. I do recommend upgrading to the latest Doggy Lake processors for improved performance. All jokes aside, that is a pretty cute dog you have there. And normally I don't see pictures of pets in my submissions. But if you guys have an extremely cute pet and you're taking, pictures of your setup, then feel free to include it in your submission. I don't care if it's a cat, dog, fish, or even a sloth. If it's cute, I will feature it in the episode. Anyways, back to the setup. So the speakers were given to him by his dad and they're mounted underneath the desk, but he does have a headset as well, which is hanging from the wall. The PC he worked so hard to save up for is actually a pretty decent build. It has a 7600K, 16 gigs of RAM, and the MSI GTX 1060. The only thing I would have done differently was I would have picked up the 6GB version instead, and I would lower the front intake fan towards the bottom. That way your GPU can get some fresh, cool air. This is actually a pretty good setup considering this is your first ever setup. It's nice to see hard work paying off. Thank you, Mason, for entering. And that is it for this episode. As always, make sure you guys leave a comment below and vote on who you think has the cleanest setup from this episode. Also guys, a quick side note, I'm hosting another giveaway for my members on Discord for the month of October. Last month I gave out some pretty cool PC parts. Some people took home processors and GPUs, but I'll be hosting another one for the month of October. So if you guys want to participate, join my Discord server. The link is below. Anyways, thanks again for watching. As always, I love your faces and I will see you in the next video.